Good afternoon. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central Time, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. There's a number of ways you can watch this show, and you can find it on the radio, icradio.media. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. Also, I encourage you to send email with ideas about shows or any research you would love for me to do. I love to do research. So send that on to Donna at donnasedge.com. That's Donna at donnasedge.com. No apostrophe S. So it's DONNASEDGE.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. So this was sent by Sandra, and Sandra is thinking about using home equity in her home to do some home repairs this coming spring. And yeah, spring will be here. Doesn't feel like it right now with all that cold weather and some ice and some sleet and stuff that we've been having here lately. But let's go ahead and think about home equity. Should I use it? Should I not use it? You know, we'll actually be saving money, and there are a number of things that you can do. So let's go ahead and mention this. But think about interest rates. Okay, so this is the neat thing about being on Earth as long as I've been on Earth, is I've had some experiences. And so even a 0.5% can mean a lot, either reduced cost or more cost when you're getting a second mortgage on your home using some of that home equity. So let's talk about it. And here they give you some ideas, and this is through a website. I really love this one. It's called debt.org, debt.org. And I found so many wonderful things about helping with budgets and whatever on this website. So it's a good one for you to actually check out. So let's think about tapping your house for cash. And it's more popular than ever right now, okay? So let's talk about it. With the average interest rate on variable rate credit cards, it's 16.93% versus 5.57% on home equity loans, or 5.90% on home equity lines of credit. They're really a great option to use your equity. Now, generally speaking, banks will let you borrow 80% of the amount of equity you have in your home. So in other words, let's say you got 100,000, you'd be able to borrow 80,000 on your home. But before you order that new granite countertop, let's go ahead and talk about some ups and downs, some pluses and some minuses of using the equity in your home. So this is what we're going to discuss today. So there are 6 different ways to look at this. Okay, so number 1 is learn how to calculate how much you can borrow. Okay, and we may have to make 2 shows out of this. Number 2 is grasp the crucial difference between wealth and what you have left on your mortgage. Number 3 is understand home equity loans versus lines of credit. Consider the new special tax value of home improvements. Now remember this, even if you're watching this show a year from now, you need to really think about, what can happen. I mean, taxes change, getting your taxes done at the end of the year. Those things change every single year. Weigh the debt consolidation option carefully and avoid the risk and temptation of cheap, ready cash. We're going to talk about those. Let's dig in right now. Okay, so number 1 was how much cash can I squeeze out of my home? So calculating the size of your home equity loan is straightforward, and it's a 3-step process. First, you need a home appraisal. Get it from someone who is trustful. Oh, by the way, go to whatever state you live in. I live in Alabama, so I can go to the Home Builders Association. And you have one in your state. Go to the Home Builders Association, and they will give you a list of people that have not been complained on. You know what I mean? Because this is what I learned about finding someone to actually help do things at our house. Builders, there are some you want to run from, and be careful of the ones who say, I have an Alabama license. That could mean a lot of things. It could mean their driver's license. That doesn't mean they have a license to build in the state you're in. So going ahead and get in contact with them, and they're very, very helpful there. And someone has done something really bad, they're just, they're a bad egg, they'll let you know about that. Okay, so you have to bring up the person's name, though, if it's somebody you're thinking about using. Okay, so calculating is a 3-step process. A full appraisal usually runs about $300 to $400. Make sure you got that tucked away. But in many cases, you won't even have to pay for a new appraisal. Now, if your equity loan is with your existing lender, they'll often use the old appraisal if it's only 6 months old, sometimes a year out. Now, it's been 11 years since we've moved to Alabama from Charlotte, North Carolina, so you better believe we've actually, from buying this farm, this was my granddad's farm, so from buying the farm, what it was appraised for what it's worth now, is went over 4 times the value in what it was 11 years ago. So if it's older than 6 months, I'd go ahead and get a new one anyway. Because again, values of homes drop and then they go up, drop, go up. It's just the normal plan of things. So I would just go ahead and get a new one if it's anything older than 6 months old. Believe me, to you, it could be worth a lot more than $300 to $400. Now, banks will often accept a limited scope appraisal. Now, what that means is that an appraiser paid by the bank does a drive-by and collects some other information to estimate the value. Now, other lenders simply just use a desktop model, okay? And what they mean by that is they type the address into the software that spits out the value based on comparable sales. Your house could be worth, say, $250,000, they might say. Now, to qualify for a home equity loan, you will need proof of income. You've paid off at least 20% of the home, and you have a good credit score. Now, in a recent study, 70% of people who actually closed loans had credit scores over 700. Okay, so that's going to be considered a good score nowadays because of COVID and all those things that happen. Now, step 2 is to determine the amount of equity you've built up. Now, the quick math looks like this. Appraised value minus the amount owed, home equity. So if let's say you got your house for $200,000, okay, and you've paid off, say, $50,000, that's going to look pretty good to the bank, and again, depending on the amount of time on the loan, whether that's 10, 15, or 30 years. Now, step 2, again, is to determine the amount of equity you've built up. The quick math would look kind of like this. So let's say your home is appraised for $250,000. and you owe $185,000 on your mortgage. That means you've got $65,000 of equity in your home. Now, step 3 is when you open the fortune cookie to learn, okay? So the size of your loan. So this is a very simple formula. Your friendly banker gives you a loan for 80% of your $65,000 equity, which means you qualify for a $52,000 home equity loan. So in other words, they're going to give you 80% of it. So here's how they calculate it. So your equity is 65% times 0.80, that's 80%. That means you can borrow $52,000 to get some home improvements done on your home. Now, let's talk about this one. And by the way, I wanted to mention this really quick. So we do our banking with Liberty Bank, which is right here in Geraldine, and they have other banking facilities around the state as well. I love doing my banking with them because, first of all, they're small. You're going to get a better interest rate because they are smaller. And guess what? Nancy will answer the phone every single time you call, unless you call after hours. You're going to have a live human being, okay, that you're going to be talking to. You're not going to be put on hold forever. So think about using a small bank like Liberty Bank right here in Geraldine. Again, they have other locations in Alabama as well. Now, let's just say the next big question is this. What should you do with your sudden $52,000 windfall? Do you want to call it a windfall, though? Let's talk about this. So if someone hands you $52,000, are you $52,000 richer? No. The answer is no. Okay, not when it comes to a second mortgage. Okay, so this is important. You need to recognize that the $52,000 is not pie in the sky. You didn't do it just win Publishers Clearinghouse. That's still money you're going to have to pay for. Okay, you're going to have to pay it back. Now, Todd Sinai, who is a professor of real estate and business economics and public policy at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School, says, no, it's not a windfall. And it's correct. So it's not wealth, it's equity. And that's a huge vital distinction, okay, between the two, okay? So let's just say, we'll use Publishers Clearinghouse. It's the only one I can think of right now. So Publishers Clearinghouse, I've just won $100,000, we'll say. That's a windfall, okay, because I don't have to pay that back. Now, you got to pay taxes out of it, but what I mean is it's not something I've borrowed against and got to pay back, but the equity inside your home is you got to pay that back. Okay, so in other words, you're extending your house payment. Okay, so it's not wealth. Homeowners need to keep that in mind, that the home equity is not wealth in the traditional sense. Okay, so it's not extra money that could be spent on other things. For example, if you buy some stock and the share price goes up, you actually are wealthier because you could sell the stock and use the proceeds to buy something you wanted without giving anything back. And again, that's what equity means in your home. But if your house has appreciated in value, so you have a lot of home equity, you cannot sell your house to get the proceeds without giving up a place to live. Okay, so let's say you owe $100,000 on your house and you were able to get the equity loan for $50,000. Before you sell your house, you've got to pay back the $150,000 before the other person can move in. So that's the difference between the two. Okay, so the only time that home equity is wealth is when you plan to move into a cheaper house, Professor Sinai said, or if you're a senior who won't be in your house very long. Now, that doesn't mean a home equity loan is not a good thing. It can be a good thing. Okay, because you're also building value in your home. So one idea is, let's just say that your kitchen looks like 1960. Okay, 1960 called and they want their kitchen back. Okay, so you're going to put, say, $30,000 into the kitchen. You're actually building equity in your home. You're building the value in your home. So that's another thing to really think about as well. Okay, so that doesn't mean it's not a good thing. That cash is something you can use so long as you prepare to pay it back in the future. Now, also treating your house equity as the money you've set aside to pay for housing. That's really what it is, and you'll need to use all of it. So don't tap into anything other than investing. Basically what you're doing is you're investing back into your house. So don't spend it on TVs, cars, or vacations. Spend it on the house. Okay, that's another thing you've got to do. Let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to return in just a few minutes. So y'all hang in there, okay? We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. We're talking about home equity loans. And, do they work? Is that something you could do with your house? Okay, we're talking about that. We're getting into the nitty gritty of it. So here's another question. Are home improvements a good use of your loan? In a word, yes. So let's dig. Okay, Americans nowadays, even those without personal advice from Wharton Professor, use home equity loans to build home improvements or repairs 32% of the time. Now, this is according to a new study. So call it the wisdom of crowds. So hurry up on that fourth bedroom. So most American babies are born during summertime, the season for hurricanes, and can raise some havoc in a house that's too small. So September the 9th is the most popular U.S. birthday. September the 9th. More people born on September the 9th. I didn't know that. Other homeowners tap into some emergency cash for a new car, maybe a vacation or 1,000 different reasons, 14% of the time. And they cover vacation or education expenses 12% of the time. Not all these loans are a good idea. However, adding that bedroom, a high-efficiency furnace, or a new roof compared to splurging on the big screen TV for the Super Bowl makes sense because it's a tangible gain to your lifestyle, but also an investment in your house. And again, if I use that money for the second mortgage using on the vacation, it's gone. That's not adding any value at all to my house. But I do a little splurge session and I make the kitchen look more inviting. That's going to add to the value of the house. Okay, now adding the bedroom, a high efficiency furnace, or a new roof compared to splurging on the big screen because of the Super Bowl makes sense because it's a tangible gain in your lifestyle, but also an investment in your house. Another good reason to spend new cash on home improvement. You can deduct the interest paid on your taxes. Yeah, that makes me smile. Oh, in the good old days, all interest paid on a home equity loan was tax deductible, but not anymore. So let's figure this one out. So you get the deduction for as much as $750,000 borrowed to build or improve your house or a second house. So there was not much confusion on this point with the new tax law, and this was in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 that the Internal Revenue Service recently issued on advisory. The new tax law eliminates the deduction for home equity interest from 2018 to 2026 unless the loan was used to buy, build, or substantially improve the home that secures the loan. Because people were getting those loans going on vacations and going to Disneyland on it. Well, guess what? You've not built up any equity in your home when you do that. Watch it on television. I know I'm boring, but anyway, watch it on television. Okay, now, what's the difference between a home equity loan and a HELOC? Both are home equity loans that feature interest rates much lower than your credit cards, in other words. So the difference is this. You receive a lump sum payment with the home equity loan and repay it in monthly installments immediately. Now, the HELOC is actually a line of credit that you can draw from as needed, and your repayment doesn't begin until the end of your draw period. So using the sample that we just mentioned, with a home equity loan, you receive, say, $52,000 all at once, and you make monthly payments on a fixed interest rate. The repayment period is usually 5 to 10 years, but it can go to 15 years. Now, it's the choice of most folks looking at a big project like that 4th bedroom or a new kitchen. Now, a HELOC gives you more flexibility if you don't want to spend a lump sum at all. It's almost like a credit card with a smaller interest rate. And that can be a good idea in a lot of cases. Maybe it's not going to cost you to fix that kitchen as much as you thought it was going to cost. So you wanted to put $52,000 on it, find out it winds up being $30,000. That can be a good thing. Now, can I use a home equity loan or HELOC to pay off the credit cards? That word is yes, you can do that. There are a few cheaper ways to achieve the debt consolidation than a home equity loan or a HELOC, even with the new tax law, which eliminates the deduction for the interest on your home equity loan if you're using it for personal expenses, like paying off the credit card you used to go take a trip to Disneyland. Okay, so talk to a federally accredited nonprofit debt counselor if you choose this route. And if something else you can do is talk to Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax Services. She's located in Boaz, Alabama, as you're heading towards Etowah County. She's fabulous. We've been using her since we moved back from Charlotte, North Carolina. She knows her stuff, and she just loves to dig in and get information. And by the way, she's a conservative. I would not have anyone but a conservative handling my taxes and the money I spend on my business. Only a conservative, and she is. I don't want somebody who's liberal handling my stuff like that. That's just using common sense. So what's the big risk of a home equity loan? There's little risk for the lender. That's why he's eager to take that home equity you've got. So if you were to default on it, you mess up and you can't pay it, they get a whole house. So what's the loss for them? So he's basically sitting pretty because he has your house as collateral. That's why he's happy to give you low interest rate, because he's covered if things do go all wrong. Okay, so the big risk is if those things go wrong, like a sudden unemployment, you get a sudden illness, a collapse in the value of your home, or if you treat the loan like it's a windfall of sudden new wealth and can't make payments, you stand to lose the house. So that's something that you really need to factor in. Of course, you can get into trouble with a revolving home equity line of credit, just like you can with a credit card, by borrowing and spending beyond your means. Okay, just because you've got $52,000 to fix up that kitchen doesn't mean you've got to spend every single dime, and you've got to be cost conscious about that make sure your builder has been credited through the Home Builders Association in your state. Make sure. I can't say that enough, because the first person we got out here is when COVID hit. And so this guy, I mean, he was like the only one who could jump on the bandwagon, because we needed some work done immediately. We thought we did. We could have waited. But anyway, that's what got us almost in trouble. Okay. So then later, when it was just too late, we checked with the the Home Builders Association of Alabama, and they said, this guy is a criminal. They were able to dig up stuff on him, claimed to be a preacher and all this stuff, and he was nothing what he said he was. So be very careful. Not only saving money on materials, make sure you got the right person out who's building onto your house. Absolutely. Of course, Phil and I have made this decision. If we can't do it, we're probably not going to get anybody out here, and it'll just go undone. This is basically our decision about the whole thing. Now, again, if you can't make your payments, okay, that's why it's extremely, you treat it like a business. If you can't make the payments, the lender could foreclose on your house. Even the second lien holder can initiate the foreclosure. So let's say you've got two banks you're working with. I do one bank, okay? It's going to give you a lot more power, if you want to say that, a lot more power. But if you're having an issue, and you can't pay one loan, but you're able to pay the other one, it can still be foreclosed on. So be really careful out there. So confusing the whole idea about getting your second mortgage on your house and wealth gets a lot of homeowners into trouble. Again, all too often people cash out their home equity and fall into the plan for paying it back, which sometimes is not a good thing. Okay, and I wanted to give you the sources, and we've come up with the idea also paying off that 30-year mortgage early. And I wanted to show this to you. I think I've got time. Yeah, I do. I've got time. Okay, so on debt.org, debt.org, O-R-G, there is a calculator right here, and it's a way that you can pay off a 30-year mortgage in 15 years, and you get the best possible way to do that. So what you can do, there's a little slider, and I can kind of show you on my iPad. I'll get you just a little bit closer right there on the iPad. So what I can do is just say, let's just say I borrowed, let's put the slide, and let's just say that I have borrowed, there we go, 50,000, let's just say 50,000. Okay. So what you can do is put the little slider over to $50,000 or whatever it is you're thinking about borrowing. And then this way you can do this without, and do it in your own time. Don't feel pressured by somebody. Then I'm going to click the button down here that says pre-qualify in minutes. Now, in order to do that, there's a form I'll have to fill out, and you can put the zip code in there, by the way, to find your rate. So let's just say 35974 is mine. Okay. And find my rate. Okay, and it takes about 3 minutes to fill this out, and you want to go through a process, just doing some research, which is what I would do even if I'm going to do it. I would just say doing research. It'll keep a bunch of people from calling you all the time, and people will call you. I just wanted to tell you that. And so I would just say I'm just researching it right now. They'll ask you for your email address, and possibly a couple of people will be calling you. So, but anyway, I wanted to tell you that right up front. But it is a good way just to find out, if that's possible and what the interest rates might be. They're going to ask you about your credit and, what you think your credit might be. And you can go to creditkarma.com just to find that out as well. Okay, that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth definitely matters. Thank you again so much for watching Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. And however you're watching us, send me an email and let me know. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. You take care. See you next time.